Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Athena Hollins. I am the state representative for District 66B, that's the northern neighborhoods of St. Paul, and I am really excited to be introducing you to the idea of the Climate Superfund, which we just dropped a bill for in the House, and it has already been introduced in the Senate. We are living in the area scientists warned us about. The rivers are higher, the summers are hotter, the storms are stronger, the air is harder to breathe. From flooded neighborhoods to wildfire smoke drifting thousands of miles, from drought-stricken farms to overwhelmed storm drains, in our own communities, climate change is not a distant threat. It is a daily reality. Our Climate Superfund bill is about accountability for this reality we are living in. It's based on a simple, deeply American principle. If you cause harm, you help fix it. The principle already exists in the environmental law. The Federal Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation, and Liability Act created a Superfund to clean up toxic waste sites by holding polluters financially responsible. It worked. Polluters paid, and communities were cleaned up, including my community. It's time to apply that same principle to the climate crisis. Our Climate Superfund bill would require the largest historical greenhouse gas polluters to contribute to a fund to climate adaptation. Strengthening infrastructure, upgrading stormwater systems, protecting drinking water, supporting farmers, cooling our cities, and safeguarding our frontline communities. We know that the Minnesotans who are most impacted by climate change are not the ones that profited from this pollution. For decades, major fossil fuel corporations like ExxonMobil, Chevron, and BP knew their products were heating the planet. They delayed action. They weakened the protections promised to the people. They did anything they could to protect their profits. Now, it's our communities that are footing the bill. We are paying through higher insurance premiums. We are paying through rising utility costs. We're paying through disaster recovery taxes. We're paying with asthma inhalers for our children. We're paying through infrastructure that needs to be built and rebuilt again and again. We're paying with the loss of homes, the loss of crops, and the loss of stability. The Climate Superfund isn't radical, it's rational. We can't continue forcing average, hardworking Minnesotans, family farmers, small business owners, and working families to subsidize climate damage created by multinational corporations who have made billions of dollars in the fossil fuel industry. We can't keep asking local governments, our counties and our cities, to choose between fixing roads or building flood defenses. We can't continue rebuilding the same bridges, dams, barns, and farm irrigation systems again and again with our tax dollars when Minnesotans didn't profit from the industry that created this problem. The cost of inaction is staggering, but the cost of accountability is fair. Our bill says clearly, the era of privatized profits and socialized damages is over. It says to our children, we see what's happening and we're not going to leave you alone to pick up the bill. And it says to powerful interests, you've profited for years, but you will not escape responsibility. The Climate Superfund is about economic fairness. It's about protecting our communities without further burdening them with additional tax levies and personal payments. The storms are here, the floods are here, the fires are here. This isn't about whether there will be a cost for climate change, it's about who will pay those costs. It is incumbent upon us to pass the Climate Superfund as quickly as possible for the people of Minnesota. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ann Johnson Stewart. I'm the state senator from Senate District 45, which includes all the cities that surround Lake Minnetonka, plus St. Bonifacius. Some of you know I'm a civil engineer, and I look forward to April 30th when my chapter of the American Society of Civil Engineers will be releasing its latest report card outlining the current state of our infrastructure, which is what brings me today to the Climate Superfund. In 2024, the Rapidan Dam failed near Mankato. Costs to rebuild are estimated at $62 million, which will be borne by Blue Earth County residents and Minnesota taxpayers. In 2012, an unprecedented 6 to 10 inches of rain caused over $100 million in damage to roads and bridges, state parks, and the Duluth Zoo on the North Shore. Minnesota taxpayers footed the bill for the cleanup and rebuilding. In 2008, you may remember a much smaller storm, just 5 inches of rain, decimated roads, bridges, and culverts in La Crescent and surrounding counties in southeastern Minnesota. Again, Minnesota taxpayers paid the $77 million in cleanup. Last summer, Minnesotans were asked to stay indoors for 22 days because of smoke caused by Canadian wildfires. The smoke impacted more than our health. It cost our state's tourism business millions of dollars in lost visitors and sales. Emerald ash borer has obliterated our state's ash trees. Did you know that it costs nearly $1,500 to remove each tree, and Minnesota has over 1 billion of them? Do the math. That's a lot of money just to remove the trees. Much of the work has been completed and paid for by local public works, but many private owners also paid. My husband and I have several ash trees, costing us almost $10,000 just to remove dead trees from our property. Local agencies have spent millions in removing, treating, and transporting tree waste. Albert Lee alone has spent nearly $1 million, and the city of New Hope budgets $100,000 a year just to address ash borer tree removal. Let that settle. Who knew? All of these damages can be linked directly to climate change. And I've just listed a few of the thousands of examples of ways that our infrastructure is being impacted. Whether we're talking about a change in rainfall or snowfall intensity, the frequency of freeze-thaw cycles we're experiencing, extreme heat or mild winters, the impacts are significant. We are suffering, and every one of us is paying. Whether personally through increased maintenance or insurance costs, or collectively through our taxes. Regardless, we just don't have enough money anymore. Maintaining, building, and replacing infrastructure costs money. Even without consideration of these emergency issues I just listed, local and state governments are facing enormous costs to maintain our infrastructure. This year at the state, we have received billions of dollars in bonding requests. Now, consider that the bonding bill, if we pass it, will cover 1/6 of the amount of requests we've received already. As just noted in the Star Tribune last week, we have a crisis gurgling beneath our feet as it relates to infrastructure. And we have a crisis relating to climate change, and the resulting damage. The Climate Superfund will allow us to obtain revenue from the huge corporations that have caused the problem. It makes the polluters pay and relieves some of the pressure on local taxpayers and agencies that are being hit with these huge costs. The fund is designed to pay for strengthening, repairing, and adapting infrastructure in response to increased rainfall and snowfall, extreme heat and cold, and flooding. Eligible projects will include both those that have suffered damage from those weather changes and against future impacts from design controls that have changed due to our changing environment. That might include protecting bridges and roofs, upgrading stormwater systems and ditches, fortifying our pavements, and erosion control along ditches and other bodies of water. It might also include providing grants for communities responsible for disposing of hundreds, if not thousands, of ash trees and letting them bring them to St. Paul to burn for energy, which as of now, local agencies simply cannot afford the transportation. So they sit in the towns where they are being removed. We need the Superfund now. We know that every year, flooding will get worse. Summers will get hotter. Winters will get milder, and damages to our roads and bridges will continue. Polluters should pay for the damage they cost. And I am so proud to carry this bill to address a huge problem in providing relief to those who suffer from it.
No, that's okay. We're having multiple press conferences right now. I always say in the inside Catholic Council chambers, there's no babbling that I appreciate more than that of a baby. So our generations are at work. So good morning, everyone. I'm St. Paul City Council Vice President Hua Jung Kim. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm here today to express my resounding support for the creation of a climate superfund here in Minnesota. I'm also elated to have any opportunity to share space with my rep, Athena Hollins. And Minnesotans expect their local governments to provide the basic shared infrastructure that we all rely on: streets, parks, schools, public health, and emergency services. And all of these are impacted by more extreme weather. Repeated freezes and thaw cycles shorten the life cycle of our streets and cause potholes, something that every Minnesotan knows about very well. Parks and roads flood, forcing temporary closure of our public infrastructure. School kids breathe smoky air and continue to experience health hazards like asthma, food insecurity, polluted water, and as a result, our youth will carry the greatest disease burden of any generation. First responders have to do their work in more hazardous and unpredictable conditions, which leads to increased physical danger and burnout. But we can mitigate these problems, not just now, but for the future, and that means making generational investments. Right now, for a municipal government, our options for raising revenue are very limited. We have property tax and sales tax revenues, and of course, we can go to the state and for state and federal aid, but they are both incredibly decreasing. So we need more options. The Climate Superfund is a way for extreme weather preparedness and emergency response. It is a new source of revenue that doesn't fall on the taxpayers and our residents. And in St. Paul, we're doing our part. We're fighting climate change. We have made significant shifts to ensure that we're investing in building for their future. Funded by our common sense sales tax, the Como Park Zoo and Conservatory is undergoing a $16 million decarbonization project to replace 70-year-old gas boilers. This is one of Minnesota's first district geothermal systems. And for those of you that are interested, it is to keep the primates warm and the polar bears cool. A mix of state and federal dollars, the new North End Community Center, which is 25,000 square feet, features sustainable, high-efficiency geothermal well field for ground sourcing, heating, and cooling. This, along with the rooftop solar array, makes it the city's most sustainable community center, reducing energy costs and environmental impact. St. Paul was one of the 18 local governments across the state that received grants under the first round of funding from the Minnesota Department of Commerce Solar on Public Buildings program early in 2025. And to take the crown of the largest geothermal in the county will be the Heights, which is adding 1,000 more affordable housing units. In Rep. Hollins in my district, our ward and our residents are already experiencing the impacts of climate change. Unfortunately, those who contribute less to climate change have the least access to green infrastructure and amenities. They are usually the most exposed to environmental hazards and have the least resources to adapt. The North End has the lowest tree equity score in the city, making summers even hotter and hard to keep homes cool and comfortable. And we have also some of the oldest housing stock that requires weatherization and continues to displace families because of high electricity bills. So as we prepare to address climate change for our streets, our parking, our public health, our environment, and for our communities, we need more revenue solutions. The Climate Superfund would be a game changer for local governments across Minnesota to fund climate projects for generations.
All right, hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Hunter Cantrell. I'm a former Minnesota State Representative, a cancer survivor, and a current third-year medical student at the University of Minnesota. Today I'm here to speak in strong support of this bill proposed by Representative Hollins and Senator Ann Johnson Stewart, because this bill would create a Minnesota Climate Superfund that ensures that the oligarchs and the corporate polluters that have enriched themselves for decades by poisoning our water and our air are held financially accountable for the damage they have caused to our ecosystem and our climate. Environmental health is a core component of overall health. Marginalized communities are often most affected by harmful environmental pollution. Exposure is an ongoing vestige of redlining and environmental racism. The impacts of environmental pollution and climate change are not hypothetical. When trash is incinerated, smog fills our skyline, and heavy metals and toxic substances leach into our drinking water from sites such as the Burnsville unlined landfills and dumps that pose an imminent health risk to my community. There are real human lives that are affected. And unfortunately, sometimes that means there are real human lives that are also shortened. The clinic where I work most of the time is only a few miles away from the Herc incinerator and surrounded by freeways on all sides. If you consult the MPCA's website, you can see that the zip code where my clinic community is compared to the surrounding wealthier, less diverse communities is associated with a 20 times higher rate of emergency department presentations for asthma exacerbations. Now, I don't know if you have ever seen a child have an asthma exacerbation, but I have. They work so hard, gasping for air, using every muscle in their body, but they cannot breathe. And when that happens, they end up having to spend their entire lives paying for higher healthcare costs related to asthma, and unfortunately, they are at higher risk of an early demise as a result of their condition. That is who we are fighting for. We need to fight against environmental racism and the climate crisis caused by corporate greed that continues to hurt the most vulnerable among us. We need to pass this bill to fund robust measures to assess and adapt to our climate crisis so fewer kids will suffer in the future and so that all communities can have clean drinking water and clean air. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bonnie Beckel, and I am a longtime volunteer with Unidos, Minnesota, and also a lifetime Minnesotan. I was raised in Mankato, and I've also lived in Winona and Grand Rapids, but I've spent most of my life here in beautiful Minneapolis. So I am here today to support the Superfund bill. As you know, it will require corporations that are contributing to the climate crisis to pay the costs of climate adaptation. The alternative is for those costs to continue to fall on Minnesota taxpayers. For me, the most heartbreaking part of the climate crisis is about the rapid mass extinction of species that we are experiencing. And about my deep desire as an elder to leave future generations with a livable, safe planet. Don't we want to leave behind the best of what we've experienced in this amazing world? So I was born in the early 1950s, before annual forest fires are bathing us with smoke part of every summer, before winter started turning into spring long before it's due, before swelteringly hot summers, before the frequent unprecedented storms that are causing floods and expensive damage to crops and property and infrastructure. We need a Superfund that supports animal species adaptation using strategies like restoring habitats, connecting ecosystems to facilitate migration, and the development of protected areas where animals can thrive. We need our healthcare system to address the asthma and heart disease effects of all that smoke inhalation. We need our healthcare system to protect people from the excessive heat we now experience in the summer. And we need Superfunding to pay the costs of rebuilding and strengthening infrastructure to handle all these storm events. So I thank you for doing what you all can to move this bill forward toward passage.
Hi, my name is Aurora Vatrin, and I'm the Legislative and Political Director for the 100% Minnesota. Today, we are launching a statewide campaign to pass the Climate Superfund. Minnesotans in every part of the state are feeling the impacts of the climate crisis on their lives and on their pocketbooks. From Bemidji, where a derecho caused $10 million worth of damage and fell about $800,000 short of qualifying for federal aid. to Mankato, where 2 years after a massive flood, the community is still recovering because there aren't funds to help. To Chicheo, a community of 410 that received 8 inches of rain in a single storm, causing a pump to fail and stormwater to back up into people's houses. Or every person in Excel service territory who pays a fee with every bill because Texas didn't invest in a resilient grid that could withstand extreme weather. These impacts are not theoretical. Minnesotans are on the hook for these costs, while they are struggling to afford the basics and big oil companies continue to rake in record profits. Paying their share of these damages isn't a punishment. It's common sense. We teach our children that when they make a mess, they clean it up. Why would we hold the fossil fuel industry to a different standard? Thank you. And with that, we will open it up for questions.
So I was trying to read through the bill, and I know it gets into this a little bit, but how do you guys kind of hope to, plan out how much to charge each of these big companies, and like how are you envisioning what the thresholds to trigger this sort of tax or however it's labeled might be?
Great question. So this law is specifically targeted towards fossil fuel corporations that have either done extraction or refining that's resulted in 1 billion metric tons of carbon emissions. So we are talking about like the largest companies in the world, not like our neighborhood utilities.
And so that would be, companies that are national, international, not necessarily here or having office space or some sort of manufacturing space here in Minnesota.
Exactly. So it's based on nexus to Minnesota.
And so, there's some of these laws that are, I think, fairly recent in New York and maybe one of those other states, Vermont, thank you. But like, what have you learned from that process that you're hoping to carry into this session as you guys work to pass this bill?
Well, Vermont's bill is pretty new, and they're still studying exactly how the bill works. So I think we will be looking to Vermont just because they're right ahead of us. New York is a little bit older in terms of their implementation. And so I'm certain that we will be looking to them both for models. There's also, Aurora, am I correct? There's 10 other states that are looking at introducing this. So I think as we move together with success of creation of our climate superfund, I think we'll learn from each other and be able to implement it efficiently and in a way that makes sense.
And the way that I'm reading it, sorry if anyone else, the way that I'm reading it is that this would involve both the MPCA and at some level the state auditor's office. Can you explain how that function might work?
Thank you for the question. So I think the most important part to me is having the state auditor be involved in determining how much is being assessed to each of the major fossil fuel companies. It's something that we did learn from New York, who didn't have as clear of a process. We want a really clear process and formula that assesses what that cost will be. And so the auditor is going to be absolutely crucial in that aspect of it. The MPCA will be the recipient of the place where the fund is stored. And so they're going to be, they're further down the path, but absolutely the first step is going to be the auditor's office making that assessment, because we have to assign a monetary amount to the amount of polluting that has been done.
Can I add to that? I just want to offer up with my colleague, I think it's equally important that we have a real specific assessment of who qualifies. In my remarks, if you look at them, I was very careful. We have all kinds of infrastructure needs in Minnesota. Some are clearly linked to climate change, and I think with a valid assessment and clear criteria, we should be able to outline specifically, especially around infrastructure, which is my area of expertise, specifically where we can draw a straight line. And so I think that's going to be just as important. It's kind of step 2 once we figure out how to assess damages. We need to be very clear about who's eligible to receive the grants.
And you touched on this in your remarks, but obviously you guys here at the legislature, every session people are coming to you saying, hey, we got messed up in this storm, or hey, you know, this is going on in our community, could you give us, you know, half the money for this project, or whatever it might be, like, how has that changed, like, during your time in office, and like, I guess, how are you seeing, like, the impacts of climate change in your work here at Capitol?
Well, so I'm on the bonding committee, and I was when I was here in 2021 and 2022. The thing I've seen is just a super accelerated change in the number of requests we get. So right now, local agencies and state agencies are being hit kind of from a number of sides. If we just focus on, let's say, two sides, one is just from aging infrastructure. And I mentioned it in my remarks. You might have seen Aaron Brown's column in the Star Tribune just last week talking about local governments. You know, a lot of our sewer and water pipes were installed at about the same time, and they're aging just based on material properties. But now we're seeing, like Emerald Ash Borer, we have communities across the state that it costs, let's just go on the low side, $1,000 to remove each tree. It costs money for Public Works to cut down a tree. They have to pay somebody to do it, and then they have to dispose of the wood. Right, just today I met with concerned tree removers who want to implement a grant wherein cities could ask for money to transport the tree waste. So here in downtown St. Paul, we can burn that wood, but I don't know about you, but I'm not hauling a truckload of tree waste for free to St. Paul. These public works departments need the money to even move the waste. And so that's an added cost that we weren't even talking about 20 years ago. And then with flooding, I mean, that really is impacting townships. So I teach at the university, I teach townships about culvert maintenance. You know, for those of us that don't live on a township road, we don't think about it, but there are thousands of culverts under township roads that are routinely washing out. When a culvert washes out, there's nothing to support the road, so the road washes out. Culverts are, and this is a huge problem that's been accelerated due to the rainfall intensity that we're seeing. And so for them to suddenly, you know, they don't have enough money for maintenance, and now they don't have enough money to restore a road that washed out from one storm. So I am seeing local agencies from township to state, and by the way, the federal government too, being hit from both sides. They're having to deal with aging infrastructure, which is exhausting enough. And when I mean exhausting, I mean mentally and also financially. They don't have the money for that. But now we're seeing an acceleration in these additional costs that nobody was planning for. You know, I shudder to think what kind of storms we might experience this summer and the impact that's going to have on our cities and counties, townships, and our states. State.
And then lastly, I get, like, these people aren't gonna wanna pay this money, you guys are gonna have to work hard to get something through here. What are you sort of anticipating in the, I guess, the upcoming fight to get something like this passed?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
The opposition.
Well, I think, so I thought initially you were asking about legal challenges to after the bill is passed. Well, yeah, let's not talk on that. I'm really hopeful that this is a bipartisan bill. I see some leaders from the Republican Party over here. Maybe they'd like to comment. I see this as a bipartisan bill because when I talk to everybody, Republicans and Democrats, they all agree that they shouldn't have to pay for the things that are impacting them right now. They should not have an increase in their taxes to make sure they have clean water, to make sure storm and sewage drainage is working for them, right? Those are things that did work for them 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and now it has changed. And when I talk to them about it, they say, well, I didn't cause this. It wasn't my fault. I didn't make money off of this situation. The people who benefited from this, who made billions of dollars on this situation, should help contribute to making sure that I still have clean water to drink and that my sewage and storm drains still work. And that has been consistent everywhere I've talked about this across the state of Minnesota, including in red districts. So I'm really hopeful that it can be a bipartisan issue because ultimately this comes down to affordability, which I think we're all focused on this year. And the reality is making these improvements, restoring our structures and infrastructure costs money. And that money is either gonna come out of our constituents' pockets, or it can come out of the pockets of billionaires. And I think we all know where we want that to land.
Other questions? All right, thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, I need my necklace back, little.
I'm assuming, who does that belong to?